Your IELTS essay is probably looking something like this, and this is the reason why you are stuck at a low band, because this is the exact mistake that I made when I was stuck at a band of 5.5 and 6 in my IELTS writing. But today, I am going to share with you the right approach that has helped me improve my writing and took me from an IELTS band of 5.5 to literally having published scientific papers as I speak to you today. And this is the same approach that has helped so many other students. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm also going to add a few practical tips, and actually if you stick to the very end, I am going to show you a sample from my writing 12 years ago when I scored 5.5. Honestly, it is so embarrassing. I can't believe I am showing it here today. I'm going to use it as an example, and I will tell you pretty much 3 things that you could start using today that could instantly improve your writing. So if you stick to the very end, you will get to see that. I assume that most of you are probably at a similar stage when I was there 12 years ago, so you're going to learn something from that. Now, when it comes to IELTS writing, first things first, the criteria. And with writing, the criteria are slightly different than IELTS speaking, for example. And one of the key differences is task achievement. Does your essay or your writing fully cover all the parts that you need to address? And the way that I like to go about it when it comes to writing is the same when an artist is drawing something. Now, if you ever seen an artist drawing, they will always start with the outline. So this is step number 1. In step number 1, you need to already put the architecture or the structure already there. So in terms of your essay, that translates into the introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and the conclusion. So straight away, put your structure there, put the main idea that you're going to discuss in each paragraph. So for example, if your essay is about the advantages and disadvantages of working from home versus being in the office, in the introduction you kind of like rephrase the question. You also add a bit of background, how like the recent changes COVID like has encouraged, or like how companies are moving towards this. And then you lay out the first paragraph. You can, for example, put it in which you will talk about the advantages. Your second paragraph is about the disadvantages, and then your last paragraph, which is the conclusion, you kind of like mention in a nutshell, or you summarize or provide like your view overall if you would like. Now after that, you can move to step number 2. After the artist put the main layout there, then they start adding the details. In terms of IELTS, that means that you need to start architecting the structure of each paragraph. So usually the artist will start adding the details to the eye, the feathers, the wings. But for your IELTS, there is actually a well-known method, and you could find so many sources on the internet that they regularly mention it, which is the peel method. And this, you can use it to structure your paragraph. So the peel method stands for point, evidence, example, and link. The point is your topic sentence, the first sentence of the paragraph, which should give the main idea what that paragraph is about. So if you are applying it to the first paragraph, which is the advantages of working from home, you can start your point or your topic sentence by saying, working from home has many advantages that can increase productivity. So that's your point. Now, when you come to the evidence, you can say several companies are shifting to this hybrid mode of working remotely because they could see that the efficiency of their employees has increased. And now when you move to the point after that is explanation, or you can also provide examples. So you could say, because employees are working from home, they don't have to commute to the office. Basically, they are not walking or driving to the office, so they are saving a lot of time and use it more efficiently. Additionally, when they are working from home, they can focus better because they are not distracted by the noise in the office or unnecessary meetings, or whatever ideas you would like to discuss. And then after that, you come to the last point, which is link. And here you link the main ideas that you discussed there either to the first point that you mentioned, is sort of like quick summary, or you link it to the next point that will follow. So you can also do it however you like. So all in all, we can see that all these benefits can increase the productivity of employees in the office, or you can link it to the next point as well. However, despite these benefits, there are also some disadvantages. And then you move on to the next paragraph, you apply the same kind of structure, and then you talk more about the disadvantages. And then at the very end, in the conclusion, you could mention like what you think of, like you kind of like summarize very quickly or very briefly. You provide an overview, and then you can provide a conclusion that is more inclined towards your point of view. Now, when you are in step number 2, bear in mind that you don't need to make it very fancy, complicated. Keep it very simple, because remember, task achievement is more important than whatever ideas you're trying to use there, or whatever fancy vocabulary that you are trying to use, because you might want to use some advanced words but you are struggling to remember exactly how to use it, or you don't quite remember it. So don't waste time there. First, just lay out like very basic, simple structures, add like what you are confident with, and don't try to make it very fancy. And then if you manage to lay out or put the main structure there with all the main ideas with the language that you are confident with, and then only after that, that brings us to step number 3. And then in step number 3, that's when the artist start adding color and like make it more fancy. But before that, you could already tell what that drawing is about. And this is pretty much the same approach, because you might run out of time very quickly in IELTS, and only if you have enough time, then use that time to add like more fancy touches, add more fancy vocabulary if you would like to, and try and elaborate on the ideas, talk about more benefits here, more disadvantages there. And that's pretty much how I like to think about it, because one of the most common mistakes, or the mistake that I was actually making when I showed you back in the day when I was scoring 5.5 and 6, was that I would start with the introduction and I'm just like stuck there, like, oh, how do I rephrase it in a catchy way? Or, oh, I have to use this fancy word, but I don't remember like what is the rule behind it, and I just get stuck there, and then you are wasting time. And then by the time that you put like 1 or 2 paragraphs that are in a good or decent state, you're gonna run out of time, and then you start rushing the rest of it, and later when the examiner is reading it. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like from the perspective of the IELTS examiner when you waste your time on the first few paragraphs, and then you run out of time and you just have to rush it very quickly. And it's gonna look something very stupid. But on the other hand, you can see that this drawing is very clear. It covers all the main parts. It is well defined. It's not very fancy. There are not many fancy colors there. It's not shiny, but at least it covers all the part, and it's very clear when looking at it, like exactly what we are looking at. And this is the advice that has helped many students that I've worked with. So as I promised you earlier, here is an email from 2013 that I sent to the Education Center of USA, and I was inquiring about the possibility of studying there. And this is so embarrassing, I can't believe I'm showing it here. But bear in mind, this was when I scored 5.5. So yeah, this was literally 12 years ago. Now, when we look at it, I would say there are probably 3 things that you can learn from this, and you can start applying immediately, or try and learn more about, so you can improve your writing. The first point is, if you take a look at it, I would say the first thing that stands out is you could immediately see that I completely butchered the punctuation there. So that's how you use commas, full stops, like which letters to capitalize, and you can see that I didn't follow that quite right in my writing. The second thing also, which I got to learn about when I moved to the UK, is that you can see here that the whole paragraph is a whole sentence, or I didn't even stop it at the end. There's no full stop. So one thing that I learned is that English readers they prefer short sentences. Because if you come from a different language, for example, my first language was Arabic, and in Arabic you can write like really long paragraphs, and you just add the commas and then you just add the point at the very end. But when you switch to English, I learned that English readers struggle with that if the sentence is too long. So if we start correcting that, and I'm gonna add track changes so you can see it here. I don't know why I left a space between hello and the comma. The comma should be like right next to the last letter. Here I didn't capitalize this. My name is Deep. I am a student, so okay. No space there. I'm a student. I've recently graduated. I would probably. I am a student who is just like I too much. I'm a student who recently graduated from high school. And then I think I can already end this sentence here, because as I mentioned, like try and make your sentences short. Like don't go for very long sentences. And then I got my baccalaureate. I would probably say I passed because it's a little bit more formal. I passed my baccalaureate exam with a score. One more thing, try to learn how to use articles properly as well. With a score of 17, and I have got an IELTS test. Again, this is not right. There is no space there. I would probably say, and I obtained 5.5 in my IELTS test. I think I can already end this sentence here. Remove this. I am planning to continue my studies in the. I don't know why I capitalized this. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, guys, check out the rules properly, where you should capitalize, where you should not. You can find so many sources on the internet that will give you the exact rules. I'm planning to continue my studies in the USA. I would probably say the United States. So I hope you will help me. I would probably rephrase this. I hope you could help me about how to. So this is wrong. It just doesn't sound right. I hope you could help me. I would put help me with advice on how to apply to universities there. I think I probably, and for scholarships and thank you. I will end this sentence as well. So I hope you could help me with advice on how to apply to universities there. And then I would probably say, additionally, any information on available scholarships would be highly appreciated. And then I will just put it as many thanks and then sign it. Alright, I think this looks pretty decent. Now bear in mind, here I'm just trying to correct the mistakes that I made, but if I were to start it from scratch, I would probably go about it very differently today. But here you could clearly see my mistakes. Try and keep your sentences very short. Pay close attention to the punctuation, make sure you're getting that right, and also try and use your articles correctly. And yeah, I forgot to end it with a full stop point. As you can see, this was my writing when I scored 5.5. Yeah, just look at my stupid paragraph. I mean, I was really stupid. And most of you watching me today, I'm pretty sure that your writing is probably even way better than this. So, as you can see, if you consistently work on your skills and have that mindset of learning, improving, and try and improve all the time, then you will be surprised on how far you can go. If you want to learn more how to think critically and go about solving any problem, I showed how to do that like a nuclear engineer in some of my previous videos, so go and check it out. And this pretty much brings me to the end. I hope that you learned a couple of things here today that you could start applying. And best of luck with your IELTS or with your journey abroad or whatever you're trying to achieve.